Hello everyone and welcome back to Popcorn Anatomy. My name is Ursula and today I'm hosting your very first movie swap. The rules are simple. I mention a movie you probably already know and recommend one that's similar to it but a lot lesser known. Let's begin.
I'll be back.
First up, The Hunger Games and The Running Man. It's crazy how uncannily similar these two stories are. In fact, I have a theory that Suzanne Collins may have grabbed a thing or two from this 1987 flick. Taking place in 2019, this movie is situated in a dystopian American setting, in which poor communities are destroyed by the government to make room for more wealthy structures. Everything is controlled by the government and by the media, and like with a Starbucks gift card, you get points for getting people in trouble, cooperating with the corrupt bureaucracy. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a man who works for this corrupt government and refuses to demolish one of these poorer communities. He is then imprisoned and forced to compete together with two friends and a woman associated with him in a game made for television, in which they battle a bunch of bodybuilders with heavy armor and deadly machinery. We're warning you about the ultra cheesy special effects, but if you can get past those, you'll find an awesome story you'll probably enjoy if you're into the Hunger Games. The movie even has its own Caesar Flickerman. Up next, we're swapping The Fault in Our Stars with Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Here's some eye candy for all you John Green fans. You don't have to go far into the past to pull out a super similar, if not better, movie about cancer, teenage angst, and interpersonal relationships. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl came out in 2015. The main character is Greg, a guy who gets along with pretty much everyone in his school because he doesn't have a real relationship with any of them. He's good friends with this one guy named Earl, even though he won't admit it, and together they make hilarious parodies of classic movies that nobody except them is allowed to see. He's then forced to hang out with Rachel, who has just been diagnosed with cancer, and although he won't admit it, the three of them become great friends. Rachel helps him get on track for his future, and he and Earl decide to make a movie for her when her condition worsens. Like The Fault in Our Stars, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl is filled with hilarious, heartwarming, and heart-wrenching moments that'll make you laugh and maybe even cry. We recommend this strongly. Our next swap is Star Wars with Lost in Space. We're bending the rules here a little bit and swapping a movie series with a television one. If you like Star Wars, you better watch at least one episode of Lost in Space. They're both uncannily similar, so much so that George Lucas even admitted to Lost in Space being a major inspiration for Star Wars. In fact, John Williams, the famous composer who created the music for Star Wars, got his start in Lost in Space as well. And to the people who had grown up watching the show, the episodes 4, 5, and 6 seemed all too familiar. R2-D2 and C-3PO? Check. Han Solo? Check. And Will, the show's main character, strongly resembles a young Luke or Anakin. There's even an episode in which Will's father is possessed by an evil alien spirit that makes him go bad. And what does he do? He tries convincing Will to join him so that they can rule the galaxy together. Deja vu, anyone? Next up is Narnia and Pan's Labyrinth. If you like Narnia or just fantasy in general, I strongly recommend Pan's Labyrinth. This movie is actually not as obscure as the other films on this list. It's actually one of the most successful foreign films ever made, and if you haven't watched it yet, chances are you've heard of it because of this guy. The reason we're swapping it lies in a couple of similarities in the plot. A young girl, whose life is actually kind of sad, escapes into a fantasy world in which she befriends a mysterious faun. Pan's Labyrinth, though, takes place in the midst of the post-Spanish Civil War, and when she escapes into a magical world and meets this faun, he sends her on a quest to complete 3 tasks before the full moon, so that she can eventually become Princess of the Fairies. Besides this incredible yet tragic story, what you'll probably enjoy most out of this entire film are its visual effects. The pale man? Creepy. The giant toad? Disgusting. But what's most disturbing about this film are its more realistic sequences. It is, above all, a tale about how it's difficult to run away from what's existent and haunting you in reality. Our final movie swap of the day is one of my favorites, The Great Gatsby for Mud.
Gatsby? What Gatsby?
On the surface, the big-budget Hollywood take on the F. Scott Fitzgerald classic is not at all like the indie movie that came out the same year. However, when you really get into Mud and analyze the characters and the story that the movie tells, you'll find they're not all that different, and that's because Mud is the modern retelling of The Great Gatsby. You can look the synopsis up for yourself, but you'll actually have to watch Mud to find the parallels between both stories. Mud is Gatsby, Ellis is Nick, Juniper is Daisy, Juniper's abusive husband is Tom, and May Pearl is Jordan Baker. And after being told all this, you'll probably find East and West Egg out for yourself when you watch the movie. If you enjoyed the classic, you'll like Mud for all of its parallels to the F. Scott Fitzgerald story. That was all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Popcorn Anatomy. We post new videos about your favorite shows and movies every week. Don't forget to tell us below what you want us to do next. See you soon!